Okay, let's start number 2 now. There's T8, M8. I see it. I'm going to go to the whiteboard because it does take some time to talk through it. All right. Now, granted, if you practice these, it really doesn't take time. You kind of do it almost by rote. So what are we doing over here? We're doing number 2. And number 2 is an integration problem. And that integration problem is going to be from 1 to 7. And then it's e to the x. And again, I'll write down what I would put down if I were taking an exam. Right. The first thing I would do, just to save myself some effort in rewriting this over and over again, a lot of computation to do, is write down f of x is the integram, which is e to the x over x plus 2. The next thing I would do is I'd look at the interval, and the interval goes from 1 to 7, and I'm dividing it into 8 parts. All right, so I'm doing T8 and M8. So the length of the interval is 6, and if you take a 6 and you divide it into 8 equal parts, you would get 3 quarters. All right. So if you were to write this down, I'm going to start at 1, but when I write 1 down, I'm going to write 1 down as 4 quarters. Then I go up by 3 quarters. What would that be? 7 quarters. Then I go up by 3, that's 10 quarters. I go up by 3, that's 13 quarters. I go up by 3, that's 16 quarters. Now I realize your tendency to say, 16 quarters is 4. I don't think I would do that because I don't want to lose a pattern here. 19 quarters. Students are often wondering, when do you stop? We'll discuss that. What do you get now? 22 quarters. What do you get next? 25 quarters. What do you get next? 28 quarters. I'm going to stop there. And someone says, why are you stopping there? That's 7. How many intervals are we going to have over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? So I'm going to do trapezoid first because I think it might be easier. I don't have midpoints yet, by the way. And let's write it down, and then we'll look at the key later. And these intervals are all worth 3 quarters. Now, I know it's a lot of writing, but I do want to start it out. Right? Just want to start it out. So it's going to be, f of 4 quarters, that's f of 1. And then it's going to be f of 7 quarters. And that's over 2. What would the next one be? F of 7 quarters plus f of 10 quarters over 2. And I sort of notice it's like a yada, 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 and it goes on. I realize that. Question is, where does it stop? Well, I'm going to put the last 2 terms down. So last 2 terms, let's put this, it's going to be f of 25 quarters plus f of 28 quarters over 2. What's before that? Well, f of 22 quarters. You could write them all down if you want. And f of 25 quarters over 2. I'm going to factor the 2 out, and then we'll talk what we have next. So t, by the way, I'm not going to box as an answer. This is not an answer, by the way. Do not think that's an answer. So this is 8. If I factor 2 out, I get 3/8. And what would I get over here? F of 1 plus 2 times f of 7 quarters plus 2 times f of 10 quarters plus 2 times f of 13 quarters plus 2 times f of 16 quarters plus 2 times, put the plus sign here, 19 quarters plus 2 times f of 22 quarters. I don't think this is a good answer either, by the way, but I'll tell you, it might be acceptable if I put a box on it. I'm not there yet. So 2 times f of 25 quarters. And then, last but not least, I only have one of those, f of 28 quarters. I would definitely accept this as an answer to the problem. I don't like seeing it. It makes it tough to read it. And you have to be aware of that. A lot of people are not going to read things that are tough to read. I'm going to rewrite it as 3/8 times f of 1. I'm going to try to compact it a little bit. That's that business there. And f of 28 quarters, which is f of 7. plus. And this is the tough part. I realize that. There's a lot of these things over here, but there's definitely a pattern to it, right? Now, someone says, how many are there? Well, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting 7. So what I'm going to do, write that down. The sum, I equals, you can start at 0, but I'm going to start at 1 to 7. There's going to be 2 times that, and then f of something. And what is it going to be? Well, it's 1 plus 3/4 of an I. That's all we're doing, is moving up every single time. Now I want to just go through it. If I put 1 down there, I get the 7/4. 2 would give me the 10/4, so forth and so on. Now if you got the 7, what would you get? You'd get, let's see, 4 and 21, 25/4. Yeah, it works out beautifully. This is a better answer, by the way. Now, certainly when I say that, both answers on my exams would be given full credit. So let me look at the answer key, see if we got it. I got the 3/8, f of 1, f of 7, 2, 1 to 7. I got this business over here. And let's put an approximation down. We're not expecting anyone to do an approximation on something like that, by the way. Non-exams, because you're not using any computers or calculators. All right, let me go to M. All right, M's a little more difficult, my opinion. Right now, certainly I have opinions about a lot of things. I'm not saying necessarily are true, but I want to do midpoint. And how do I do that? It should be relatively simple. What I do is the first midpoint, let's see, 4 fourths and 7/4, 11/4, take half of that, 11/8. All right? All you have to do is add 6/8 to that. That's going to be 17/8. What's this one going to be? Add 6/8 to it, 23/8. I'm doing midpoints now. Add 6/8 to that, 29/8. Add 6/8 to that, 35/8. Add 6/8 to that, that's 41/8. Add 6/8 to that, 47/8. And add 6/8 to that, you get 53/8. I want to check that, by the way. How do you check it? Add these two numbers together and divide by 2. What would that give you? 53/8. It works out beautifully. I think the midpoint form is going to be easy to write down. Put it over here, M8. Every base is worth 3/4. And now you just got to compute the heights. What are they going to be? F of 11/8. That doesn't look like 11/8, does it? This is why I actually prefer typing. My notes are typed up, by the way. F of 17/8. F of 23/8. F of 29/8. F of 35/8. F of 41/8. This is a very simple pattern, by the way. F of 47/8. And F of 53/8. I would be willing to accept that as an answer on the exam, by the way. No computation necessary. I do want to write a sum down now. Someone says, why do you want to sum down? Well, it's something you've been doing since Math 120, and it's something you should get more and more familiar with. So I got the 3/4. I'm going to do this over here, and I'm going to say, last time I started at 1, now I'm going to start at 0. And let's see, if I want 8, that would be 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would give me 8, all right? What's it going to be? F of, and let's write this down. It's 11/8. That first midpoint we computed, and then what do? You have to add on. And what do you add on each time? Well, I say 6/8. 6/8 is the same thing as 3/4. I is the counter, put this down, and this would be a more appropriate answer. What are you going to do now? Look at the answer key. See if you're getting this. In the answer key, I believe this is being listed. Let me make sure of that. I see that over there. I do. And I see this over here. Again, the understanding is we've defined F up here. And that's important you know about that. Thank you.